Who knows Alstom here in this room? Come on. Alstom is the worldwide leader in transportation, in railway systems. We have the worldwide record of the highest speed, that is 574 kilometers per hour. Many years ago. Yeah. So we are almost 100,000 around the place, around the world. We operate in 60 different countries, and we are divided in several units, services, rolling stock, and my unit named Digital and Integrated System. In this unit, specialized in signaling systems and digital, we are around 15,000 around the world. So myself and my team, we are in charge of the digital transformation, the tools, whatever those tools are for different métiers. We are managing more than 80 different domains and métiers. A métier can be validation, verification, safety, RAMs, CAD, etc., etc. Design, detailed design, integration, manufacturing. And we have in our portfolio hundreds of variable products. Okay, the biggest one, maybe you know them, high-speed train, tramways, metros, but all the systems that are embedded in those big beasts are also so important. And behind the final product that you see, and you are taking trains and maybe metros daily, behind those systems, there is a very, very complex engineering, manufacturing, supply chain, installation, decommissioning even, yeah? And we are working on very long life cycle systems, 30 years in terms of sustaining before to come into the obsolescence. So today I will speak on one side of what we can do with AI and generative AI. Generally, we have two families. We have the product and we have the production. The production ecosystem that you are using or your engineers are using daily in order to perform, in order to build the systems, and the final or the target product that you are selling to your customers, like the trains that I have mentioned and the signaling systems that I have mentioned. Today, I will mostly speak on the production system. We are doing complex engineering, complex manufacturing, complex supply chain with variability, explosive variability of products, trying to fit the heterogeneous and variable and very complex requests from our customers that are growing in terms of digital demands. And how we can do this? First of all, to fit the customer expectations, to make him happy, to maximize our profitability. This is not normal and natural. How we can do all this? By leveraging AI. This is the problem to solve, and this is what I would like to address today with you. No? Yeah. First of all, I would like to start by trying to clarify what is the problem that industrials in general, not just Alstom, are facing today. And what are the ones among those problems that we can solve with automation, digitalization, AI, and generative AI. And after, I would like to bring you in a quick journey where we will see concrete things, concrete assets, even video demonstrations from the product that we have developed, starting by what we call augmented domain-specific translation. Not very complex in terms of implementation, but you will see the impact. Augmented knowledge management and return on experience. Then after augmented requirement and specification copilot. augmented code generation and test scripting copilot to automatize the VNV activities, the validation activities. And I will finish with some tips that you can reuse at your own level based on our first experience. And just to emphasize that we have started this journey in 2020, almost four years ago. So from 2020 to beginning of 24, we were building the car, or let's say the train. I will use the car example, it is better. And after, with this exciting event, the release of ChatGPT, yeah, that solved many problems for us. And one of them is the adoption, the resistance for change. People that were saying, I don't believe in AI, they become the first to demand new use cases just with ChatGPT, because they have seen that something is there. They can ask questions, they can get answers, and the answers are not so bad. Not explainable, but not so bad. And I will share a few tips how we make it successful in an industrial context, and it can be also in a startup even, to embrace this revolution of generative AI. So what about the challenges that we are facing in our project? Before to go there, I would like just to show you something very well known, the Gartner hype cycle. You see on the left-hand side, how generative AI, I don't know if there is a pointer here, see? There is a pointer here I can use? No. Oh, yeah? Okay. Okay. Yeah, but that's fine. So on the left-hand side, you see generative design AI. This was in 2022. That was really just new and emerging. And the prediction of Gartner at that time was that this new technology will arrive at the peak of the inflated expectation, what they call, in 5 to 10 years, which is the normal journey for a new technology emerging. It is the case of causal AI, it is the case of operational AI, it was the case of IoT, blockchain, and all those emerging technologies. You need some time, yeah? Then after, for sure, you have this disillusion phase where most of the POCs and most of the trials will fall down. And I will give you here some statistics. Do you know that only 10% of the digital transformation based on the new technologies leave the lab, which means that it will be industrialized at scale. 10% only. It is not just a question of technology, bringing geeks together, the most brilliant guys, giving them laptops and asking them to develop. It's more complex than that. There is a question of cultural change and adoption. There is a question of dimensioning of the team and taking care of all the aspects of the development, from the user need collection to the integration, the CI/CD, the configuration management, all those aspects needs to be taken into consideration in order to leverage and to take it at scale. I will come back to my hype cycle. You see here, I had a discussion with Gartner, by the way, between the two hype cycles. And I said, you are exaggerating a bit. I don't think that this is 5 to 10 years. And I can tell you that in 2 years from now, this will be on the top. And this is exactly what happened. And they put it, I was 10 days ago in Gartner for another discussion. And you can see the color that is changing to light. In the new version of 2024, they put it even blue sky. It means that the generative AI will start to impact in 2 years from this release of 2023. And this is the case today. Then after, for sure, we will see some disillusions because people are so much excited with generative AI for a simple reason that during years since 1956, we started to see how AI can help, can support the human. The human was the pilot, and AI copiloting, checking a bit, doing some classification behind. You do something and you ask the AI to check, model checking, classification, but who will do who will bring the data? The human. The human will say, this is apple, this is orange, this is apple, this is orange. Then after, the tool will do a classification. You give a new image and, this is an apple. Fine. But the problem that why this excitement and this misunderstanding, because the generative AI is doing exactly the reverse. Generative AI is saying, I will create for you, and you will check if you wish. But you need to check. So that's for why there is a lot of excitement, a lot of misunderstanding, and sometimes a lot of exaggerations in terms of expectation, I would say. Yeah. So let's do baby steps and to be pragmatic in different implementation we are going to do. Now, what I think is, this is my expectation. This is the discussion I've got with Gartner. I think that by 25, 26, we will start really to see some game changers. Today, in the Gartner radar, they speak about daily AI, game changer AI, two families. Then the AI that you build inside your company and the AI that you will sell as product to outside. This is the new radar. And in this radar, generative AI will be in the heart, and it will bring a real added value in the coming years. Sooner, I would say in 1 year, 2 years, you will see a real impact that you need to embrace it. It will be done with or without you, with or without me. So it is better to embrace it to stay competitive. Good. More technically, what are the challenges we are facing? And I will explain why. So we used to receive a contract, an RFP, let's say, from our customers. It can be Deutsche Bahn, it can be SNCF, it can be anyone around the place. From that moment, this RFP is composed of thousands of pages, technical, non-technical, legal, anything, planning, costing, etc. Then after our engineers, or in any industry, the engineers will analyze this contract regarding their reference library, their reference products. For example, if you have a certain family of a product that you are selling, you will take your contract, you will look at this product, and you will compare. You will do your compliance analysis. This I can do for you, dear customer. This I cannot do. This I can do, but give me some time. I will develop a new thing. Gaps, conformities, non-compliances. From that moment, hopefully you are awarded, and you start the real life, the execution, at the transfer, what we call the TTM, tender transfer gate. You will see the tender team who maybe sold some dreams to the customers. Maybe they were very quick in analyzing some compliances. Now, the reality of the field, they will give the baby to the project team. So the project team will be composed of system designers, architect, installation leaders, and so on and so forth. And they will now go deeper, line by line, on this contract to see how they can fulfill. From that moment, we start the specification. You write specification at system level, at subsystem, at components, software, hardware, etc. Then you have the verification team. They will come, they will challenge you. They will see what you have done. If this is not good, this is good. This traceability between these two requirements is not good. This test is not good to test that requirement, and so on and so forth. Then after, the validation engineers will write what we call requirement test description or test description, how you can test your product, because everything you need to certify. Not at the same level, but you need to certify. Then after, you finish with the validation, you will do a safety assessment, you will do cybersecurity assessment, and even cybersecurity design before to do a fail-safe or cyber secure product. You need to integrate it in the design phase. All this journey till the installation, as I said, manufacturing, you will face many issues. And one of them is what you can see here. This is coming from Standish Group International, what we call CAUS report. And you will see that incomplete requirement and specification, lack of user involvement, lack of resources, the problem of configuration and change management, are behind. So this question of poor specification and poor requirement, misunderstanding of the customer, are behind 37% of the project QCD degradation. So what is the impact of this degradation? You can see on the right hand, the National Institute of Standards and Technology claiming that if you detect the deviation at the requirement specification phase, this will cost $80 for you, for your program. With the inflation, we can say 100 today. If you don't do it, and you leave it till the production when you are running your product, your software, or even your train on the track, this will cost 30 times more. 30 times more. Why? Because the change will be very complex at that time. So what is the strategy here? The strategy is to put a defense in depth using AI in order to track those deviations, those problems, and each time you need to solve the problem. Just to give you an idea now, when we say 80, 30 times more, and all those percentages, etc., how we can figure out what is the volume, in fact, in railway systems? You will see it here. So in railway systems, in a standard project, like the Metro of Berlin, for example, we use inside the company, we use to manage between 40,000 to 100,000 artifacts. An artifact can be a requirement, can be a test, can be a function. And according to INCOSI, International Council for System Engineering, one poor requirement costs 1 man-day. So if you are working in Europe, in average 600 euros per day. If you are working in best cost countries like India, it is around 250. So you multiply the cost of non-quality by the volume of artifact that you have in a standard project, by the number of projects you have in your company. We are running 1,000 projects today, for example. And if you don't detect this very early, what this will cost for you? I think that we have understood now that is very critical for our profitability to solve all those problems. This is coming from McKinsey in how to invest on generative AI to get a fast and high ROI. Because on the previous slide, I will just come back on it. The blue items are the items that we can address and we can solve using AI. The others, nothing to do with AI. So now, how we can solve them with AI and where we need to invest. According to McKinsey, they said using generative AI in just a few functions could bring 75% of the overall value. The overall economical value, according to McKinsey, is between 2.6 and 4.4 trillions. Gartner positioned it in 3. They are very precise, said 3 trillions. This is the economical impact of generative AI. Then you see now what are the most valuable functions or domains where you need to invest. That are product R&D, research and development, and all what is related to software. And the most biggest impact will be in high-tech domain, advanced manufacturing, and in travel, transportation, and logistics. And we are doing all these 3 domains in Alstom. And you have one specific family, plus it is on the right corner, plus it is a very quick, I mean, the time to market is very short, and the added value is very big. In the green square rectangle, you will see sales and marketing. And you will observe something with me here on the first column, marketing and sales, that the colors, the blue color is uniform from top to the bottom. The interpretation of that is the possibility of reuse of your generative engines, generative AI engines will be very high. It means you develop once something for marketing and sales, and you can sell it if you are a startup. I will tell you, invest there. If you are a small startup, mid-sized startup, I can tell you, don't go into software engineering. Don't go into R&D. You will not be profitable comparing with the big mastodontic industrials. But if you are a small startup or mid-sized startup, go there. Sales and marketing. I believe that this is the right place to invest. Why? Because look here, the reuse is very high. You can develop one solution, yeah, and this solution you can sell it for agriculture, banking, basic materials, chemical, construction, all the domains will take this product that you are going to develop. Now, I prefer, we need to augment our workforce to be competitive. This is for sure. We have two possibilities to survive, in fact, in a highly aggressive competition framework or environment. One is to transfer the hours to best cost countries. The second is automation. There are pros and cons for both. Best cost countries, you know, the turnover, very difficult to retain, high attrition, sorry. And in Europe, for example, in the US, you can find 20 years experienced developers. So you have high level of expertise, retention is quite good, etc. So what about augmenting the experienced resources with AI and the juniors in AI in order to become expert fastly, quickly? And you continue to work on best cost countries and the automation in parallel, but giving the priority to the automation. We can see here what is the value for boosting productivity and value creation in your company. First thing, generative AI copilot enhance the productivity of the software developers. And they have, in this a study led by McKinsey, they created two groups, one test group and one group augmented with AI. So a group without AI, without GitHub Copilot, and group with GitHub Copilot. Same level of expertise, same tasks in terms of complexity, etc. So they have observed that the ones that were equipped with GitHub Copilot were 25 to 30% more faster in completing their tasks. And this productivity decreases 10 to 15% for medium tasks and become insignificant for low complexity tasks. Okay. Then after, for code documentation, they have observed that it can be optimized by 45 to 50%. Code generation, 35 up to 45%. Code refactoring, when you have a very old product, legacy product, yeah, and you want to revamp it for a simple reason, for railway, for example, we have 30 years of sustaining. So now I have Code6, for example, programming language in Charleroi, that is no more possible to sustain because I don't have the engineers who knows this very old language. So we are using now Gina, that maybe at the end of this session we will demonstrate a few stuff to refactor this software from Code6 to Python. And when it is Python, no problem. You can find the resources easily. Another study, this is from McKinsey, the three first bullet points. Another study led by Microsoft, GitHub, and MIT revealed a significant impact of GitHub Copilot on software productivity. It was around 55% of gain of productivity. But they said something very important. They said this productivity is very high for the mid-level and entry-level software developers. For the biggest, my expert, the top gun ones are not getting benefit from generative AI, for instance. Okay, so this is the study. And I was surprised personally discovering in this study that generative AI can impact the well-being, as you can see here. So 88% of the developers felt happier when using generative AI because they can go faster when you have a tight schedule, so you can deliver the tedious task, the repetitive task, you can go faster, but always human in the loop. in critical domains like railway, human in the loop is mandatory. Okay, and 87% claimed they could focus on satisfying and meaningful work, as I said, and 94% claimed they were in a flow state versus 55 without generative AI. The report is what it is, but really we can feel it, we can see it in the experimentation we have done. I can show some KPI just after inside Alstom. So first use case, practical use case that I would like to show is the domain-specific translation augmented by AI. So before this use case, we were trying to shortlist with procurement some translation companies to work with us. We are doing a mastodontic number of, tremendous number of documents to be translated in different languages. As I told you, we are operating in 60 different countries. And sometimes, for example, here for Deutsche Bahn, you need to translate everything into German. If you want to work with India, they don't understand German, so you need to do back and forth translations, and so on and so forth. And this is, for this, you need to mobilize different delivery service companies specialized in few languages. You cannot find the one that is specialized in all. But the complexity is, it's not just linguistic translation, it is a domain-specific translation. Yeah, a bogie in English is that, in German is that, in French is that, and this is the expert who will say. We have specific language, we speak specific language in railway, our product, etc. So we have implemented using cognitive services, using Gen AI engines, and using some other heuristics like knowledge graphs. Commonly, we call it ontologies, specific ontologies, to augment the cognitive service. And we are able today to translate 1,000 pages in 10 minutes with a very high level quality, satisfying quality, I would say. And even if the quality is not good, there is reinforcement learning mechanism that we put in place in order that when the user reports a problem in the translation, it is taken on the fly, and we re-inject and we learn from this bad translation. But something very important for the custom translation, we use this ontology in order to give to enforce some correspondences between different languages. We can say to the tool, for this concept, you translate it like that. So the tool will take this, will take the global glossary that is inside the ontology for the company. Then after, the user can come also with his own glossary. So we will do some priorities, the glossary of the user prior to the ontology, the generic ontology for the company, and that is prior to the systematic translation of the cognitive service. And we are able to translate from 175 language to 174. We don't use all of them, but we use almost 20 approximately. And this is for any format: PDF, PPT, Excel, CSVs, even Outlook emails, etc., etc. So this solution is scalable. And I think this is the service that is the mostly used today. We have around 4,000 documents that were translated using this service in just 2-3 months. Now, what is the cost if without this service and with this service? So with this service, I recall for Abidjan project, we have done 30 documents, and the cost was around 100 euros. With the external companies, for 60 pages, the average cost is 1,000 euros. So return on investment proven and very high. And one of the added values of that service is bringing the service as is to do the translation, but put it also in the pipe of any other service. For example, when we do tender execution in this solution, named, by the way, iSense, that stands for Intelligent Services and Engineering Suite. This is the tool that we have developed. So we put it in the pipe, in the workflow, in a smooth way, that the user, when he connects in iSense, he's, for example, executing a tender. When he will capture the tender, we will ask him in which language you would like to translate in parallel. So we use this service also to do this kind of services. And we translate in English, French, German. The original version, let's say, it is in Spanish. So when our teams, installation team from Madrid and design team from Berlin, let's say Ram's team is from France, etc., they will work together, collaborate together on the application to analyze the contract, etc. The Spanish guy will see the Spanish version. If he wishes, he can see another language. The German guy will see in German, and so on and so forth. In that case, we have solved this problem, the transfer to BCC, where just before, as I mentioned, our colleagues from India cannot work on the contracts that are in Spanish, in German, etc. Now they can, and we have solved definitely this problem. Just to give you some flavor on what are the different correspondences, you can see here that in French, how we can write something, how it was done without disconnecting the ontology. What is the result in the red column? The result is not good at all. And what is the result after connecting the ontology and imposing some correspondences? Yeah. So this is the translation case. And I will. So this is the interface of iSense. This is the translation. I think this text is to say that uncoupling, separating, splitting two trains from one unit is forbidden if the unit is moving. So you need to stop the train after you can split it in two pieces. And you see sorry for that, the translation is for French. I don't know if it will be done for another language, but the translation is very, very accurate in Greek, and you can navigate to any other language. So this is for text translation, and you will see just after, this is for Arabic. Then after you will see the document translation. And here you upload your document as is, 1,000 pages, 2,000 pages, doesn't matter. The limitation, I think, is 80 megabytes, stuff like that. Yeah. So now you take this document, PDF, Excel, any format. You just have to choose your target language. And whenever you come as a user, you will see all what you have translated before. If it is your private document, fine. If it is, you consider it as a public document, it will be stored in a public space in order that the others will not redo this translation when it comes to source and target language. Yeah. And after you can download it and you enjoy it. All this in a few minutes. You can see here on the left-hand side is the original version that is in Spanish. Right-hand side, it is in English. You keep exactly the same format. Nothing to do approximately manually when you are done with the translation. Look, it is like a clone, but one is in original version and one is translated. Cool. So now the second use case I would like to address is the augmented return on experience and knowledge management. We have a huge amount of return on experience here and there in a spoken way, in emails, in Excels, in PowerPoint, plenty of things, but it is not easily accessible. It is not shared. It is not profitable. And this is the biggest weakness of what we have. We know that this problem occurred on that kind of product or on that kind of service or on that kind of project. We know what is the solution, but this was not shared. So another one will come in another site, will do exactly the same mistake and will face exactly the same issue, and this will impact our cash performance at the end. This is the case today. How we can do like a big collection of the recs from the formal databases for the recs, dedicated for the recs, but also from videos, from audios, from any format. Then after to put it in the pipe, then after to vectorize this, to index this, and to put like a smart engine, first of all, to search properly, and second, to use extensively generative AI in order to rephrase and detect some items and present it in a digestible way for the users, because sometimes the Rex is very, very technical, and you will see just after what is the results. The knowledge, you want to search in your company for someone who is experienced in onboard system, or in bogie installation, or in planning. So how you can do today? You will ask to someone, or you ask HR. It doesn't work. So now we have mapped the operational expertise. It means the guys that are writing on the planning, that are writing on onboard systems. We will detect them, identify them, and they will be exposed as the expert, the knowledgeable people on that field, on that product, on that service. And after, people can reach to them to ask them questions, to take some advice, etc. And this is what you will see here.
And welcome to this demo on Rex 360.
Maybe we can.
Rex 360 is a feature
cut the
which will
sound.
support our teams and managers to take the right decisions and to share them widely across the organization. Any user will have
what you can
access
see here,
to an impressive amount of success
for the
and
Rex,
failures at
we
any
have the
time,
former Rex
anywhere,
cards.
any device,
We
or any
have
content.
all our repositories
For
of
example,
requirements
for a
that
query
are
like
in the
emergency
system. Millions of requirements. Today we are reaching in our data
we
set
are able
something
to get
like
results such as this,
4 6
including
million
context,
of requirement, I
problem
would say.
statement, and key
So in
takeaways.
one
There is also cache
text,
impact
you fill one
derived for
text,
each artifact.
one keyword, 2 keywords, one
Here,
sentence,
we can also use the
and you will
chat
get
feature,
access to
which
many
helps us
dimensions
to
that you
get
can see here.
answers for our
The
queries
requirement,
on a certain topic.
the change request, the expert, and the Rex, the formal Rex. Then after, because you will get a lot of results, a huge amount of results.
Given query,
we have put in place
has been created.
A chat bot here
Similarly,
for the
like
Rex in order that you interact on the top of the result that you have found.
For the data
Like for
regarding
this
the
example,
requirement,
emergency
the
braking was
experts
the
on
ask,
the given
and
requirement,
in the Rex,
and
we
test
asked
and
the engine to
CRs that are
summarize
associated
all
with
what
the
is
query
happening
that
with
is given
emergency
for the
braking.
Rex.
What are the main issues? Can you
Furthermore,
summarize what is
using
the
the
impact
Rexbook
of
feature,
this
we can
function
help
on
achieve
our
on
cache
time,
performance?
on budget,
Can
and
you
on target
translate this
delivery with
in
customer
another
satisfaction.
language? It is like
A full
ChatGPT
contract or
for the
RFP
Rex,
will be
for
analyzed in one
embedded
shot,
inside
and the main topics
Alstom.
will
All
be
what you see
identified,
here
and
is
the
developed
corresponding Rex
in-house from
cards will be
scratch.
printed in one report called the Rexbook, which
GPT
can
is
then be
one of
used by a
the
project team.
engines feeding Isense, but we have more than 50
So
different
this is how a
technologies.
Rexbook would look like.
And
It
in one
includes
click, we put a contract, an RFP of a new, an RFP. And the tool will analyze the content of this RFP, detect all the activities that are inside, detect all the products that are inside. Time is flying. Okay. So I need to speed up. And after it will generate. We have time. Okay, so I can. Yeah. Okay. So and you generate this Rexbook to give it to the project to tell them these are the key takeaways for activity X, activity Y, design, installation, and for product X and Y. For specification, copilot, I will go quicker. You know that we write millions of requirements in one given project. As I said, 40,000 artifacts to 100,000, many specifications. So how we can generate those specifications? This is exactly what this service is doing, and also by enhancing the quality of those specifications. You can see clearly on the right left-hand side the level of maturity of the requirement written by the experts in blue, and in green when we rephrase them with using GPT-4, gaining 25% of maturity, the distribution on the right-hand side. This is an example how it was written. It was written like an information originally here, left-hand side, and it was detected by the I specifier as something that you need to look for, and it was rewritten as real requirement. Here, another example. It was just pure textual from end to end, and it was written in a clear way with bullet point, very precise, and more easy to analyze in terms of compliance. Then after, what you see here is the Gina engine. You ask questions on specific domains and functions. Gina will answer, and you will give the template and you will generate your specification, as you can see on the right-hand side. Just to give you, it's funny. I was in India 1 month ago, and I organized like a game. 3 experts in the same room working together. He was one of them, Sofian here. And myself just with Gina. As you can see here, this screenshot is coming from that challenge. And I have beaten them on all aspects. And the questions were very technical. Can you explain in detail what is the risk coupling? Can you explain in which cases the train shall be stopped with emergency braking? 3 guys, 5 times, they were taking 5 times more than me together. Good expert, one for validation, one for application engineering, one for specification. And Gina won the game in all aspects. I will finish as I'm running out of time. This use case for test scripting automation. When you write a test, you automate it. So this is the case. We will distribute a PDF at the end. Yeah. So, and this is for software code generation. You can accelerate maybe the video. Yeah. This is a developer just asking the tool if you can generate for me a software simulating the movement of the trains between stations X and Y and Z and evaluate the conception. Then it was generated. It was pushed into the IDE, compiled, some bugs, put in there again, corrected. The software was corrected. Then after he said, can you generate the test descriptions to test this software? It was generated. And after he said, can you script them in Python? It was coming, and he was building his software, generating the test and generating the test script in 20 minutes. This was the lead time of doing all this action. I have asked this developer, who is part of my team, his name is Shantanu, he's working from India, how much time it will take for you if you do it manually. He said 1 week. Okay, and this is the real case developed in Gina. The adoption growing, as you can see, the curve is very good. We have today 40,000 actions done in iSense. I will finish with the 5 key success stories. Drive, think big and act small, digital transformation strategy, collect the investment, avoid being a POC factory, think big, act small. Second is to create a vertical organization where you will have EI champions and business-oriented experts, and develop an in-house skill set on EI, data and emerging technologies. Mobilize your EI champions very early in the life cycle of the project. Don't wait till the end when the problems are there and to do some log analytics, etc. And the last thing is prioritize the EI opportunities per cross-domain. You need to create your cross-domains, as I did here for my company. Opportunities and tender, what we can do, the use cases, what is the maturity, what is the business case, the return on investment behind, etc. And I will finish here. And sorry for being very long. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you so much.